My online girlfriend has been strange lately, always sending photos of her little pet snake, then asking if it looks cute. I do not really like snakes, but she is great at gaming, has a lovely voice, and is generous with money, so I force myself to praise it. It is gorgeous. This is the prettiest snake I have ever seen. Then she asked, "Do you like it, babe?" I replied instantly, "I like it. I really like it." Satisfied, she transferred me 50,000 yuan. Later, I asked to meet her. I waited at the agreed spot, but only saw that little white snake. It was not hard to recognize it. After all, Ruyan sent me its photos every day. This is the snake from the front. This is the snake from the side. That little white snake's looks were burned into my memory, even though it was carefully dressed up today. Wearing a tiny top hat and a little bow tie, I still recognized it at a glance. But strangely, Ruyan herself never showed up. I am not bad looking, am I? She could not have been scared off by my face and run away without her pet. She must have gone shopping or stepped away to take a call. I wanted to wait farther away, but the little white snake's emerald slit pupils saw me and lit up brightly. It even hissed and flicked its tongue at me, as if it really liked me. It still gave me the creeps, but this was my rich, gullible online girlfriend's beloved pet. I had to keep up the act, so I gritted my teeth and sat beside it. The white snake's eyes shone even brighter. It happily wiggled its tail tip and quietly slithered closer. I fought back a scream, pretending to be calm and refined. I even reached out to play with it, but a man and a snake sitting in silence was painfully awkward. I gathered my courage and spoke. "You are so cute." The little snake seemed to understand. On its pale little snake face, a faint blush actually appeared. I tentatively added, "You are even prettier than in the photos." The little snake looked even happier. It even greeted me with its tail tip, suppressing my fear of reptiles. I tried hard to interact with it. I just hoped Ruyan would return when she was done, see my loving side, and transfer me another 50,000 yuan. But I held out from noon until night. At that upscale Western restaurant, I drank 3 beverages, finished a plate of pasta, 2 salads, and 3 steaks. I sent 10 messages. Ruyan neither replied, nor showed up. Not until midnight did a server come remind me, "Mr. He, we are closing now." That damn Ruyan. Could she really be playing me? I was speechless. Just as I was about to pay, the server stopped me with a smile. "Our future owner never has to pay for a meal." She also handed me gifts Ruyan had prepared in advance. I immediately understood why Ruyan had not appeared. She had to be testing me. Rich people love this kind of game. She wanted to see if I was mature and steady, and whether I behaved properly. When did I ever have those qualities? But thinking of how rich Ruyan was, I could instantly summon every noble virtue. Since it was a test, I had to pass it. So, when I left, I did not abandon the little snake. I steeled myself, tucked the snake into my arms, and took it home. Qiang, you can definitely win Ruyan over. Maybe the little snake was not used to human body heat. It was dazed in my arms, looking far from alert. So I found a box and put it inside. The little snake finally stopped looking dazed. But why did it seem disappointed? It looked so listless. I could not let anything happen to it on my watch. I quickly turned to my all-knowing social circle for help. Along with the reptile shop owner, I spared no expense. That night, I set up a luxurious terrarium for it at home. The moment I put it inside, a saying came to mind. A female CEO wakes up every day in a 300 square meter bed. I took a photo and sent it to Ruyan, who had been unreachable all day. Still, no reply. Considering she had already given me 5.2 million yuan, I let it slide and went to shower. Afterward, wrapped in a towel, I checked on the little snake. The moment it saw my bare shoulders and legs, it shyly turned its head away. "Oh, you have manners too. Let me see if you are male or female." "No. A boy or a girl? Male or female?" "Whatever. I am checking anyway." Dao Bao told me. You can tell by examining a snake's cloaca. It was a little intrusive, but I still wanted to know. Just one look. It should not be a big deal. So I ignored the little snake's resistance, held it down, and pressed out its cloaca. It was actually an unusually well-endowed little female snake. I proudly let out a lewd wolf whistle. The little snake struggled until its tiny top hat fell off, and its bow tie went crooked. Finally, it curled up in the corner, staring at me in utter disbelief. I coaxed it a little, then returned to my room, thoroughly satisfied. Of course, I did not go straight to sleep. You have to stay up late to appreciate how precious time is. Late that night, I finally received a message from Ruyan. "Babe, I never expected you to be so passionate and bold." I knew it. My act at that Western restaurant had not been for nothing. I replied cheerfully, "Do you like it?" She went silent. I started wondering, had she noticed that I ate too much? "Do you think I ate too much?" I had already typed it, but deleted it. I could not expose my own weakness. She had to bring it up first. Then I could explain that, so I could wear my sharpest suit when I met her. I had deliberately starved myself for days. Instead, Liu Ryan asked. You like it? Then are you satisfied? Of course, I was satisfied. Liu Ryan had bought me so many luxury watches and sports cars. I was beyond satisfied. That was what I thought, and that was what I replied. Liu Ryan sent a blushing emoji, then added, Babe, you are so honest. I love you so much. I will definitely make you happy. Then came another transfer of 52,000 yuan, marked as a voluntary gift. Another easy day of making 50,000 yuan. I pumped my fist excitedly beneath the covers. Yes. This money had gotten me a Porsche Cayenne and a spacious luxury apartment. Liu Ryan sent me another photo of the little snake. Home already. In the photo, the little snake wore its top hat and bow tie, coiled up neatly. Behind it stood Liu Ryan's lavish villa. Wait. That is not right. Wasn't the snake with me? I rushed into the living room to check. The little snake had really escaped. It had slipped out and found its own way home. What a smart snake. I happily replied to Liu Ryan. Babe, this photo is beautiful. It is the best photo you have ever sent me. Liu Ryan said happily. I trust your taste, babe. The next second, she made that photo her profile picture. She even sent me another cash gift. Nice. Now I was making 100,000 yuan a day. I gladly accepted it and replied, I'm looking forward to our next meeting. After all, one meeting brought me more money than half a year's salary. After I kept pleading with her, Liu Ryan agreed to meet me a second time. I deliberately changed into my most gentlemanly, most figure-flattering suit. But at the coffee shop where we had agreed to meet, I once again found only Liu Ryan's pet snake, though this time, it was dressed even more exquisitely. The little snake wore a custom-made suit jacket and gold-rimmed glasses. Was it dressed up as a cobra? No, that was not the point. Where was Liu Ryan? I finally realized something was off. Was Liu Ryan standing me up again? Just as I was getting annoyed, my palm suddenly felt cool. I looked down and saw the tip of the little snake's tail. On it was a lovely bow, like a beautifully wrapped gift. It was impossible to refuse. The little snake gazed at me with utter sincerity. The moment I responded, its whole body slithered into my palm. AWW. Good baby. I understood. Liu Ryan was not just looking for a boyfriend. She was also finding a dad for her beloved pet. I had a good personality and a high tolerance for snakes, so she had chosen me. She would not show herself, only sending the little snake because she wanted it to choose its own favorite daddy. Liu Ryan truly adored her pet. Then my job must be to take good care of the snake. I eagerly straightened the little snake suit, then carried it around the park and took it to a movie. When I tried chatting with it, I suddenly realized Liu Ryan had never told me its name. Since I did not know its name, I would just call it Babe. Babe, do you like it here? The little snake nodded. Babe, want to go by the water? The little snake obediently nodded again. Babe, do you want to come home with me? The little snake hesitated, but only for 3 seconds. Then it nodded furiously. Winning Liu Ryan's pet's heart was practically the same as winning Liu Ryan. I was floating on air. I gave the little snake a kiss. The little snake blushed shyly, burrowing into my arms and whimpering for ages. Honestly, setting aside my selfish interest in Liu Ryan, this little snake was adorable, was amazingly perceptive, and did not bite. Spending a lifetime caring for it with Liu Ryan did not sound so bad. The little snake nestled obediently in my arms, and I carried it home in my arms. Liu Ryan was still silent on her end of the phone. She was probably busy. So I watched the World Cup with the little snake. When it was over, I put it back in its luxury terrarium. In the middle of the night, while I was sleeping soundly, I suddenly heard a soft rustling beside my ear. I groggily opened my eyes and found the little snake had crawled under the covers. It slept contentedly on my chest. I poked it. The tip of its tail curled around my finger, as if it were acting cute, but wanting to be responsible for the snake. I asked Daobao, can a snake sleep in bed with a person? Daobao answered, people should not sleep with snakes ever. I could only ignore the little snake's hopeful gaze and carry it back to its terrarium. The little snake tried to coil around me, but I refused. Good babies should learn to sleep by themselves. The little snake flinched, retreated into the corner, and tucked its head into its coils. I was about to leave when I heard soft sobbing. I picked up the little snake and looked. It was actually shedding little pearl-like tears. But tears or not, it still had to sleep alone. Mostly, I was afraid I would roll over and crush it. There goes my dream of marrying into wealth. But I could not just leave it crying. So I kissed it and coaxed it. Babe is the best. You can definitely sleep on your own. The little snake trembled faintly, then obediently crawled back into its terrarium. At last, I could sleep. When I woke up, I found more than 99 messages from Liu Ryan, along with dozens of missed calls. They had kept coming from 4 in the morning until now. Babe, I know I was a little too eager, but can you please not hate me? I am sorry. Why are you not saying anything? Are you mad at me? Babe, please reply to me, okay? Countless transfer records were scattered between the messages. I had to admit, I really do sleep incredibly well. Maybe Liu Ryan felt guilty for not showing up yesterday, which was why she kept apologizing. But I am the most understanding person. Once I had fully woken up, I replied to Liu Ryan, I am not mad. I was just asleep. She finally calmed down. That is a relief. I happily accepted the transfers. Liu Ryan asked again, Babe, do you think the snake's body temperature is too low? What kind of question was that? Snakes are cold-blooded animals, I replied. It is fine. Liu Ryan asked again. Then can you accept it? Of course I can. Still groggy, I climbed out of bed, wanting to play with the little snake, only to find it had escaped again. Oh, heavens, my little cash cow. I comforted myself. Maybe it had gone home. I cautiously messaged Liu Ryan. Why have you not sent me a photo today? She was silent for a long time. Oh no, had the snake been caught and turned into soup? Just as it felt like my world was collapsing. Liu Ryan sent a new photo. In the photo, the snake wore a custom-made formal outfit, standing elegantly atop a Steinway piano. Aloof, proud, and regal. Liu Ryan said, I just got myself ready a little. I checked the time. Half an hour had already passed. She had clearly put real effort into getting ready. At least the snake was safe. I finally relaxed. I praised it lavishly. It is gorgeous. The snake was beautiful. But what did Liu Ryan actually look like? I grew more and more curious. But when I asked to meet, Liu Ryan told me, I have business in Europe that needs my personal attention. Babe, wait one more month from me. I waited a month. Finally, Liu Ryan told me, Babe, I'm returning to China today. I waited and waited, waiting for someone to knock. I happily opened the door, thinking I would finally see Liu Ryan. But no one was outside. I closed the door in disappointment. Then it was knocked on again. I pulled it open impatiently. Still, there was not a soul in sight. I thought it was some kid's prank. Just as I was about to give their parents a piece of my mind, I heard hissing by my feet. I looked down. It was Liu Ryan's beloved pet. The little snake was dressed even more flamboyantly today. A purple formal outfit wrapped around its body, and it was even wearing perfume. It had a charm all its own. I held out my hand. The snake happily coiled around it. Liu Ryan had not come, but at least she had sent the snake over. I played with the little snake, but I still could not help feeling disappointed. Before I knew it, I fell asleep on the couch. I felt something crawl into my arms. Whatever. I would sleep first. The door opened, then closed. Then, a piercing scream erupted in the room. Qiang, why is there a snake on you? I jolted awake. It was my best friend, Boxiao, staring at me in terror. I was still groggy from sleep and had not processed what was happening. I had no time to stop him or catch it. I could only watch my fiercely loyal friend, Boxiao. He was terrified of snakes himself, yet he trembled as he gathered his courage and flicked the little snake off me with a stick. Then he rushed at it, ready to give the little snake a good whacking with his stick. Luckily, this time I managed to stop him. Otherwise, with Boxiao's strength, Liu Ryan's little snake would have become hand-pounded snake meatballs. I scooped the aggrieved little snake off the floor. It curled up in my arms, shedding pearly tears and heartbreak. The way I fussed over the snake made Boxiao stare at me in disbelief. Did you not used to be terrified of snakes? The little snake understood human speech, so I had to choose my words carefully. You do not understand. People change. Besides, my baby is so well behaved. How could I not love it? The little snake nodded in my palm. It even raised its head provocatively at my friend. Boxiao looked displeased. You promised me back then you would never keep weird creatures like this. What did he know? Things were different now. I transferred him 20,000 yuan. Boxiao's expression brightened instantly. Grinning, he leaned closer. Now that I look at it, this little snake really is pretty cute. He worked up the courage to pet it, but the little snake jerked its head away. Boxiao did not get upset. He started chatting with me about the snake. Where did you get it? It is pretty wary of strangers. As I soothed the little snake in my arms, I asked, do you remember me telling you that I have an online girlfriend? Boxiao nodded. I remember. The one who is incredibly generous with money. The little snake nodded smugly in my arms. I tapped the tip of its tail and said, just then, I felt the little snake in my arms tremble excitedly. But that did not stop me from continuing. This is her pet snake. I thought I had phrased that perfectly. But the little snake went rigid in my arms. After a long while, it looked up at me. Pearls started falling from its eyes again. What was wrong? Was the spot where it landed starting to hurt? Before I could comfort it, a dark blur flashed before my eyes. The pet snake bolted out the door. I chased it downstairs, but the little snake had already vanished. Boxiao panted as he followed behind me. What is going on? Where is the snake? I wanted to know that too. I called Liu Ryan. She did not answer. She did not reply to my messages either. I wanted to look for her at Liu Ryan's home, but after searching our chat history, I realized I had no idea where she lived. Boxiao looked a little guilty. I could only reassure him. She'll be fine. This little snake is clever. She can find her own way home. Boxiao secretly glanced at me. His expression clearly said, who are you trying to fool? I tried contacting Liu Ryan all day. That evening, she finally replied, I am sorry. It turns out I misunderstood. Misunderstanding what? Why could I not understand what she was saying? Were we even on the same wavelength? I sent question marks like crazy. At last, Liu Ryan was willing to explain. Babe, I am not human. I am a snake Beastkin. That snake is not my pet. It is my true form. I always thought you knew my identity and accepted me. But today, I learned I was mistaken. You have always thought I was a pet snake. That is why I got emotional and ran away. Babe, I was not throwing a tantrum. I was just overwhelmed. I did not know what to do. I am sorry. Babe, I finally understood. Why? In some system novels, the male lead tells the heroine that he transmigrated here, and that he will be erased if he fails his mission. Yet she refuses to believe him no matter what. Wow. Because when someone says something like that, I can only think they have lost their mind. So I thought Ruyan was messing with me. Still, I replied patiently. Did you not say you are a snake, Beastkin? From what I have read in novels, Beastkin should be able to take human form, right? She replied instantly. Yes, Beastkin generally appear in human form. It is just that I am in my shedding period right now, so I cannot maintain human form. See, her excuse sounded rather convincing. I almost believed her. Ruyan continued explaining. My original plan was to wait until I could take human form next month, before meeting you. But you kept saying you wanted to meet, so I came to see you in my true form. Babe, I have never hidden my identity from you. She sounded so certain that I froze. I scrolled back to our messages from months ago, the day I confessed to her. I had finally worked up the courage to message her on WeChat. Ruyan, I like you. Will you be my girlfriend? Ruyan sent me a photo of the little snake and asked, are you sure? At the time, I thought keeping reptiles was not an unacceptable quirk, so I replied, I am sure. Later, whenever I asked for a selfie, she only sent photos of the snake. Come to think of it, what she said actually added up. But looking back now, I still did not quite believe Ruyan. Who the hell would believe they were dating a snake online? I would rather believe it was a phone scam. I video called her. She did not answer. I knew she was a scammer. I was about to curse her out, but at the last second, the video call connected. On my phone screen, there was only a white snake. Its slit-pupilled eyes swollen from crying. I cautiously asked, can you talk? The snake shook its head. Then began writing with the tip of its tail. I can only speak when I take human form. Babe, I really did not lie to you. The scene was so bizarre. It looked artificially generated. I was torn. I did not know whether it was easier to believe a snake could write, or that I had fallen for a snake online. No, more accurately, I had fallen for a snake Beastkin online. I fell silent. I had a mountain of questions, but no idea where to begin. Finally, I forced out, how long does your shedding period last? A snake Beastkin shedding period lasts 3 months. Next month, I can come see you. I wanted to say more, but she was already writing furiously again. Babe, please do not break up with me. I really like you. This was too bizarre. I wanted to send my coordinates to the Trisolarans, because I did not answer. The little snake on the other end spun anxiously in circles. At last, she calmed down and started writing again. Babe, wait for me. The call ended. An hour later, the swollen-eyed snake slithered into my home. It gazed at me mournfully from the windowsill. I thought of every sad thing in my life, and none hurt as much as this. It seemed I really had fallen for a snake online. That was a lot of zeros. But for the first time, I realized I might actually have integrity money could not sway. The snake kept typing. Babe, could you try to accept me? This was just, well, way beyond anything I was prepared for. Seeing my conflicted expression, the little snake typed sadly. Babe, you can reject me. I do not want to put you in a difficult position. Please take this money. I only want you to be happy, babe. I wanted to say something, but the little snake had already slithered away in tears, leaving me standing there completely bewildered. I was lost. I did not know how to face this. To say I felt nothing for Ruyan would have been impossible. All that companionship, all those fluttering feelings, none of it was fake. I scrolled through my chat history with Ruyan and found that we had added each other. 3 years ago, Ruyan and I met through a game. We worked perfectly together in it. I wanted to keep playing duos with her, so I added her on WeChat. Over all that time, I found Ruyan sweet-natured, soft-spoken, and incredibly generous with cash gifts. Of course, I was not that materialistic. I truly fell for Ruyan. The night my grandpa, who raised me, fell and was hospitalized. Grandpa was badly hurt. Ruyan kept comforting me, afraid I was bothering her. I urged her to get some sleep, but she said, little Qiang, how could I sleep peacefully while you are hurting? My emotions finally found an outlet. At last, I told her all about Grandpa's condition. Ruyan responded with such care. She even asked which hospital Grandpa was in, had someone transfer him to a private ward, and arranged a consultation with specialists. In that moment, I finally understood how, when people are vulnerable, they cling desperately to any emotional lifeline. At that instant, I realized I was in love with Ruyan. I liked her so much. Enough that I did not care what the person behind the screen looked like, or how tall she was. But I never imagined the real issue would be species. I kept scrolling through our messages. They were filled with every kindness she had shown me. When I was sad, she comforted me. When I was happy, she was happier than I was. Every trivial thing I shared, she took every bit of it to heart, and always responded, no matter how busy she was. She always messaged me afterward Anything I casually mention wanting would be delivered right to my door. I had to admit, she was an amazing girlfriend, except she was not human. I scrolled for a long time before reaching the day I asked to meet her in person. I could not hold back then. I asked to meet offline. I really want to see you in the real world. Please agree to meet me, okay? Ruyan seemed conflicted, but it is not convenient for me to go out now. When I did not get the answer I wanted, I threw a fit and started pressuring her. Do you not want to see me? Or do you not love me anymore? Ruyan replied almost instinctively. I do. I seized on that. If you love me, then meet me. That settled it. Ruyan added, I'm afraid you'll reject me. Naturally, I denied it. I would never reject you. I like you so much, babe. When we meet, I will kiss you senseless. She was silent for a long time before replying. Okay. Ruyan added, then it is a promise. When we meet, you have to kiss me. I replied firmly. Kiss you senseless. Was I really that bold back then? The little snake's appearance when we first met suddenly came to mind. A tiny top hat and little bow tie. Its body had been polished, sleek, and glossy. Ruyan must have dressed up for ages, and I had misunderstood her. I had not kissed her as promised. Instead, I looked at her cloaca without her consent, and even Wolf whistled, which meant, from Ruyan's point of view, her online boyfriend had forced her to show him everything the first time they met. In an instant, I lost the will to keep living on Earth. Wasn't this setting me up? The chat ended on a screenshot of a massive 5.2 million yuan transfer. Afraid I would refuse it, she had wired it directly into my bank account. I stared at the balance, feeling hollow inside. I was depressed for days. Boxiao noticed something was wrong and came over to check on me. He found me curled up on the couch, surrounded by empty Pepsi cans, Red Bull cans, iced tea bottles, half-eaten pizza, chips, and tiramisu. Boxiao's comforting words reached his lips, but came out as, you are eating all this good stuff without inviting me. Sure enough, people without bad habits look ridiculous even when they fall apart. I truly had no energy. After Boxiao ate and drank his fill, he finally remembered why he had come. Qiang, did you lose Ruyan's snake? Did she dump you? I tried to find the words, but telling him the truth would make me sound like I was hallucinating from wild mushrooms. In the end, I forced out, I was not dumped. It is just that she and I have a small problem. Boxiao flopped onto the couch and started giving me advice. Is it a deal breaker? I did not know if it counted as one. Finally, I shook my head. Probably not. Boxiao asked again. Then do you like her? I nodded without hesitation. Boxiao asked me a lot of questions. He seriously analyzed it all for me and came to a conclusion. Life is only a few decades. If you like her, be brave. Be brave. I suddenly thought of the little snake's face. I wondered what Ruyan would look like in human form. Would she be as beautiful as her snake form, or as soft and adorable as she was in our chats? Suddenly, I really wanted to know. While I was still hesitating, Boxiao yanked me to my feet. You cannot even mope properly. Get up. I will take you to a bar and treat you. 5 feet 7 inches. An 18-year-old female model, but I do not like noisy places. In the end, Boxiao dragged me to the mall in frustration. We happened to run into his younger sister. Boxiao's eyes lit up. He bribed his sister with 3,300 yuan to run errands for us. His sister took the money and got right to work. She kept calling me big brother in her sweetest voice, carried my bags, and bought me milk tea. At Hot Pot, her service was as attentive as Hadelaus. When we were done, she even saw Boxiao and me home separately. I kept feeling like something was watching me, but whenever I turned around, there was nothing there. In the middle of the night, I suddenly woke with a start. Instinctively, I looked out the window. Sure enough, in the moonlight, I saw Ruyan, looking utterly heartbroken. Of course, she was still in snake form. The little snake saw that I was awake and tried to slip away, but I grabbed her and pulled her back. She could not speak, so she took out her phone and typed an explanation. I am sorry. I did not mean to sneak a look at you. I am not the kind of snake with no sense of boundaries. I poked the little snake's head and asked in a pretend fierce voice, then why did you come? The little snake continued typing pitifully. My subordinates told me you had a new lover. I came to make sure. She had someone follow me. The little snake sensed what I was thinking and hurriedly typed an explanation. I did not have anyone follow you. It is just that when we were dating, I showed them your photos on WeChat Moments. So, when they saw you on a date with that girl at the mall today, they told me about it. Before she could finish, the little snake stopped typing. She turned away and wiped away her little pearls with the tip of her tail. With her back to me, she finally finished typing. Does she treat you well? Ruyan had really gotten the wrong idea. She trembled as she cried, typing through her tears. If she does not treat you well, I will teach her a lesson. Babe, I want you to be happy. The little snake's tears melted my heart. I could not bear to see her sad. I scooped her into my arms and spoke softly. She is not my new girlfriend. She is my buddy's little sister. We just ran into each other, had a meal, and she gave me a ride home. The little snake typed, "Really?" I nodded. "Of course it is true. Besides, we never broke up. How could I ever betray you?" The little snake looked up at me. Tears pooled in her eyes. On the verge of falling, I gently wiped them away. I explained, "What I mean is, I accept it. I accept that you are a snake." At last, the little snake understood. She buried her face in my chest, her tail tightly wrapped around me. She hissed softly, as though saying my name, "My dear Qiang." We slept peacefully through the night. When I woke up, I reached into my arms, but the little snake was gone. Did I crush Liu Ruyan to death in my sleep? I shot awake in terror, and saw a striking woman with piercing eyes lying beside me, with sharp brows and exquisite features. Holy hell, she was gorgeous. I really hit the jackpot. She was not wearing anything. How could she sleep under the covers like that, while she was asleep? Maybe I should inspect the goods. I slowly pulled back the blanket, pretending it was accidental. I was not greedy. I was already satisfied with what I saw. Then, the next second, Liu Ruyan woke up. She sat up, and the blanket slipped down. Her long, slender legs, and all her private parts filled my view. Do snake beasts cannot shrink in human form? How could she be so incredibly well endowed? My nosebleed erupted. The look on Liu Ruyan's face as she frantically grabbed the blanket was just like when she was a little snake. In the end, I covered my nose in despair. My bold, uninhibited persona was now confirmed for life. Half an hour later, Liu Ruyan's secretary delivered clothes. The secretary watched me collect them, wearing a knowing expression. "Boss, the clothes are here. I will be going now." I clutched the clothes and fled in embarrassment. Liu Ruyan finally got dressed. She asked softly, "Babe, are you satisfied?" Why was she asking that deadly question again? I talk big online, but in real life, I was only human. Still, even the shyest person could not resist Liu Ruyan's incredible figure. I could not help sneaking another look, and Liu Ruyan caught me red-handed. She asked, "Babe, would you like to touch me?" Was I that kind of person? Liu Ruyan was really good at reading people. I had to get a proper feel. Wait, my nose seemed to be bleeding again. After I finally stopped the bleeding, that chaotic scene was something I truly never wanted to relive. In human form, Liu Ruyan sat primly beside me, handing me tissues. I explained very seriously, "I've been eating too much spicy food lately. That is why I got a nosebleed." Liu Ruyan nodded vigorously. "I will buy you some cooling herbal tea, babe." She returned quickly, carrying herbal tea and my favorite coconut milk shaved ice dessert. The herbal tea was so bitter it twisted my face, but the shaved ice dessert was sweet. Liu Ruyan was sweet too. As I happily ate, Liu Ruyan carefully asked me, "Baby, do the things you said before still count?" I had said too many things to know which words she meant. I looked up, a little curious. "Which words?" Liu Ruyan blushed shyly. "After you asked if I would go home with you. You said you wanted to be with me forever." Light shimmered in Liu Ruyan's beautiful eyes as she waited for my answer. Though it was my first time meeting Liu Ruyan in human form, we had known each other for a long time. I liked her. I liked her enough to overlook our difference in species. Of course, I would not reject the simplest promise between lovers. I nodded. "Okay." Liu Ruyan kissed my forehead. Her scent was intoxicating, tickling my forehead and making my heart itch too. I couldn't resist tasting forbidden fruit. But then, the nosebleed came again, dripping onto my collarbone and spreading across it. Except, this time, I was not the one with the nosebleed. It was Liu Ruyan. She stuffed tissue under her nose, just as embarrassed as I had been hours earlier. "I think I've been running a little hot lately too." As she said it, she blushed from her cheeks to the tips of her ears, looking utterly guilty. So, when she lied, it was that obvious? After we moved in together, I found human form Liu Ruyan was much like her snake form. She looked cool and beautiful, but in private, she was flamboyant and clingy. For the first time, I learned uniforms could come in so many colors, so many styles, and even so many combinations. Most unbelievable of all, Liu Ruyan made two of every outfit, one for her snake form and one for her human form. She would wear them for me and insist I choose which looked better. If I chose her human form, Liu Ruyan would say, "Baby, are you still bothered that I am a snake?" Then I would have to coax her for ages. Then, if I chose her snake form next time, Liu Ruyan would say again, "Baby, are you unhappy with my human form?" It made me so mad that I smacked her. Liu Ruyan smiled. Oh no, I had opened the door to a whole new world for her. Liu Ruyan began pestering me to slap her. I was not that kind of person. After I refused, Liu Ruyan racked her brains and eventually found a way. It was when we got carried away at night. If she went too far, I would slap her. After getting slapped, she would finally hold me, completely satisfied, and go to sleep. "Hubby, you smell so good." I once asked Liu Ruyan, "Why did you choose me?" Liu Ruyan answered without thinking, "What I choose is always the best. Then I guess I am the best." Bonus chapter. Of course, Liu Ruyan would never tell her baby that she was actually a scheming snake. Liu Ruyan had liked Qiang for a very, very long time. Back then, Liu Ruyan was still a little snake who could not take human form. The first time little snake Liu Ruyan secretly slipped out of home, she saw a street packed with traffic. She was too scared to move, and nearly got run over by an electric scooter. Young Qiang lifted her with a branch. There is a snake here. It is super pretty. Little snake Liu Ruyan thought young Qiang was going to torture her, but young Qiang merely showed her off to his friends. Before letting her go, he even left her half a sausage. It had been a whole one. After young Qiang took it out, he craved it too much, and ate half himself first. Only what remained was left for little snake Liu Ruyan. Hurry, Annie, then hurry home to your mother. Little snake Liu Ruyan recalled the romance dramas her mother watched. Eating the same sausage counted as an indirect kiss. And after a kiss, you had to take responsibility. Little snake Liu Ruyan understood. This was a token of love. The boy before her was making a marriage pact with her. Little snake Liu Ruyan happily finished that half sausage and went home. Their later meeting in the game had been Liu Ruyan's long-planned scheme. After more than 2 years by his side, she finally got Qiang to make the first move. Liu Ruyan was so happy. There really was a boy who did not mind that she was a snake. Liu Ruyan knew Qiang's nature, so she would always play the wounded one to make Qiang soften. Even the time he saw her human form unclothed had been intentional on Liu Ruyan's part. She knew her Qiang would take responsibility. At last, she won her handsome man. What could she do for her husband? Liu Ruyan was willing